the Biden administration came out and said that, we're going to boycott the Olympics, so there's going to be like no politicians there and stuff like that. I just thought that was kind of funny. I thought that, they're not going to send any government representatives to the games. And I'm thinking like, here's the place that we know for a fact started COVID that killed millions of people around the world. They lied about it. They didn't let anyone in the country. The WHO, we saw how corrupt the WHO was, right? They said China played great. They didn't allow the WHO in there, and the WHO still got their back. We know where it started. We know it originated. We know it. A lot of whistleblowers have come out. Just what these guys have been doing is unbelievable, and just to have the Olympics there. But our big response from the Biden administration is, we're not going to send any representatives to Beijing. Oh, man, did you just make a bold statement? Like, don't increase tariffs. We have the power to make China a living hell, right? They depend on us, right? We're the largest consumer of things, which means we have the money, right? So they produce a lot of stuff. We could buy it anywhere, okay? It's going to be more expensive if we buy it anywhere, but we have the ability to crush China, and they're not going to sell our bonds anytime sooner. They'll crush their economy, right? We own them. Completely. It's changing. It's changing now, right? As we're not energy efficient and stuff like that. But, it's just funny that that's the statement we choose to make. And it's a big deal because China accounts for 40% of the world's growth. And this is an economy where you're seeing, right, the supply chain disruptions. You're seeing a pullback. You're seeing the Evergrande situation. I've seen the stats. You're looking at construction is down 36%. A lot of these debt-laden companies are having trouble. They're trying to encourage them to borrow more. And, it's really like a lot of things in China that aren't going right. And we have this is what we want to do. We have them in a perfect position. But, this is the statement that, this is the bold statement that we make. Oh, we're not going to have any that just, what? President Xi, we're not going to have any of our representatives from the U.S. attending your Olympics. Like, that is like the slap in the face to them. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Well, we could have done a little bit more than that.
It does seem odd to us common folk, us peon Frank. But you got to remember, we're not part. Well, you're more of the elite, than I am. But you got to remember, man. This isn't to us.
Don't tell my wife and kids that. To them, I'm just like a pain.
But your fundraisers you go to and all that excitement now. I mean, how did you get back to Florida this last trip? Just coach anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though.
It's like the Seinfeld episode when they're talking about Elaine and Jerry, who gets the first class, and he says, "Well, you've never gotten in first class before." She's like, "I know." He says, "Well, you don't know what you're missing. You need to go back there. I've been there. I can't go back to coach." It's funny because from a political standpoint, I agree with you in the sense that I don't. It's kind of funny, but in their world, this is a quote unquote bold move or a serious move not to have officials there and all that. I've read headlines, as I'm sure you have, they're going to retaliate in some way. That all doesn't matter. The big takeaway here for me is, just as a fan of the best in the athletes, is that, you always have something hanging over. The situation is always going to have something hanging over in China. I mean, you can point to any number of things, and I'm not saying we're perfect, so don't, hold your hate mail on that silly stuff. Yeah, I'm not going Ray Dalio here.
No, we involve ourselves in too many.
But my point is that it sucks for the athletes. There's always going to be this over there, and it's just crazy. You don't get to pick when you're born, when you're going to be great at what you do, all that kind of stuff. So that's just that to me it just shows you how politics gets its hands in everything and typically makes everything worse. Real quick, as an investment standpoint, if you want to play China, I think their market's still down about 20% this year.
A lot.
You're right. They got a lot of problems. My only advice there is don't believe anything you read. Just imagine it's much, much worse than whatever they try to admit. But I still think you should avoid it, easily. I think there's plenty of ways to make money for investors that you don't have to. That's the great thing about investing. You don't have to participate in everything. But if you really want to play China, if you buy into this growth model, you need China to keep this world economy and world growth going. Buy ones that bend the knee, buy Nike. Frank, is Nike's stock near its 52-week high? I would bet it is.
I think it's pretty
Tesla
close,
pulled back. They're big China bulls.
Yeah.
Starbucks is over there. McDonald's has exposure there.
Levi's
if you really want to play
there.
China, play it that way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Nike is, because that actually hasn't. It might be near its high, but it hasn't really been doing too much, if that makes sense. So it is near its high. I just want to see like the last 6 months. Like even the last 6 months, I would say the last 5 months, it's really been flat. It's come down a lot, and then we have to miss in earnings, and they came back a little bit, but it's kind of been flat. Where a lot of these other players in that space have really been doing very, very well, reporting great. Hibbett just reported great numbers. You're looking at Dick's Sporting Goods, which sells it. athletic apparel and things like that. And also Under Armour, which you have in the portfolio, which was good timing on that one. So a lot of names are really, again, it is Nike. They're the biggest in the world. They're the greatest in the world. But right now it could be a good buy. It's near its 52-week high. It's not too far, 10% off but 8% off. But we'll see. We'll see there. And guys, just with China in general, if you have exposure, some stocks have exposure to China. You're right, Dan, but you have to look at I read a lot of these reports, and I don't want to bore you with them in terms of, sell side reports. So, in terms of the macro environment. And if you're looking at Omicron and even Delta is really hurting China right now, and it's hurting Europe. Europe has a lot of, tougher policies in place, and you're not seeing that growth come out of there. You're not probably going to see a little bit longer. The U.S., I think we're fine. We're through this. We're like, okay, we're here. We're going out no matter what. We feel comfortable now, vaccinated. But if you look at those two areas, two developed major growth markets, right, account for, you could say Europe's kind of a growth market, but two of those markets, those major developed nations, they're struggling right now, and you're seeing it. So is it a buying opportunity? I don't know. I know the GDP estimates have been lowered across the board in Europe and China again, and that's from Goldman Sachs, and you've seen a lot of other firms, and those are reports I was talking about that I read that are kind of boring. But that could provide a good buying opportunity. Right now it's not, but I just think the buying opportunity, Dan, will be in some of the airlines. I think that, once international travel comes back, these guys are probably going to report similar revenue that they reported in 2019 pretty soon, pre-COVID, without international travel, which is insane. That's how much pricing power they have. And these things are still trading. These airlines are still trading at the same levels of a year ago when a lot of these things were all grounded and the vaccine was just now being distributed. Just now it's starting to be distributed. So to me, that's insane where they were and where they are right now. So I think that's a great opportunity. But like you said, find ways to play it even here, because playing these directly, you can really get nailed, because especially in China, because a lot of times you really don't know what the hell's going on with some of these companies and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen Didi, basically the Uber over there they were asked to get delisted. I mean, that stock's gotten crushed since it went public.
Right. Yep.
Alibaba is well off its highs.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you got Charlie Munger, Buffett's right-hand man and business partner, buying that hand over fist, or at least he was a couple months ago as it dipped down. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going away. I don't think there's any rush to gain exposure there personally. But the great thing about investing, as things go down in price, it gets cheaper, because hell, it can only go to zero. So
sometimes they get cheaper. Sometimes they go down in price and they're more expensive depending what they're earning.
Well, that's true. But I mean, I guess risk goes down with price, I should say. Good
I mean, you could, depending on it. But so we'll be an interesting market, guys, heading into next year. Again, a lot of risks on the table, and you're throwing the Fed, and raising rates again. A lot of these things we could see right now. What we can't see is those other versions of variants, that are going to happen, overreactions and stuff like that. So it is going to be interesting 2022. I think we're going to see a volatile market like we're seeing right now going into, at least first quarter, second quarter, but it should be interesting.